Hey guys, welcome back to my super inconsistent channel. If you are still here with me and you're watching this video, you're definitely a real one and I appreciate you. Today I'm going to be showing you guys what my makeup routine is like when I have eyelash extensions, which these days is pretty much all the time. If you want to see what that is, go ahead and keep on watching. On a daily basis, I either one, wear zero makeup, or two, follow this routine that I'm about to show you guys. Luckily my skin has cleared up a lot since several years ago, so I really don't even wear foundation anymore. I'll wear it on special occasions, but that's like maybe once a month. So you're not going to see any foundation in this routine. It's super easy, super simple, super quick. I probably finished this in 15 minutes. And obviously it's catered towards eyelash extensions. If you know anything about eyelash extensions, if you've had eyelash extensions, oh my gosh, take a shot for every time I say eyelash extensions. You know that there's certain products that you really shouldn't be using while you have them. And on top of that, it's super annoying to remove makeup, especially eye makeup, when you have eyelash extensions. So that being said, we're gonna get started. I have no makeup on right now. I already did my skincare, and then obviously my eyelash extensions are on. So even though I don't wear foundation, I always use a primer still. I always use a pore minimizing primer. This one is from Makeup Forever, and I just press this basically into my T-zone where I feel like I have pores. I'm going to take this It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. This is actually my first time trying this, so we'll see how it works. But I'm going to put a little under my eyes. I'm not going to put too much because, one, I don't feel like my under eyes are that dark, and two, I don't know what to expect with this concealer yet. And then I'm just going to put a few dots where I do have a few little breakouts. And then aside from where I have breakouts, I also like to put some on the center of my face, around my nose, to cover up some redness. I'm just using a brush from It Cosmetics as well. Sometimes I'll use a beauty blender. So I just tap this in, cover up those spots. I'm really just trying to even out my skin tone in a few places where it's a little either red or maybe like right here. I don't know if you can see this little spot that I picked at. So it's a little dark there. My concealer is not really covering that right now, but I'm not too concerned. I have one more step for any spots that are a little dark or still peeking through. I also like to tap out the concealer under my eyes last, because that's where I crease the most. With whatever's left on my brush, I'm just going to take a tiny bit of concealer over my eyelids because mine are pretty discolored. So now I try to be careful with my lash line. Since I have eyelash extensions on, I try to just get it as close to my lash line as possible without really touching my extensions. Now that we have our concealer all blended out, we're going to set it with a translucent setting powder. I literally get the smallest bit of powder, and I'm putting this under my eyes, around my nose, and I just press it here on the center of my cheeks, or like the center of my face. That is because I have a little bit of larger pores right there, so I like to press this in there because it kind of minimizes them and blurs them a little bit. And then I am just going to tap a little bit anywhere else I put concealer. So you can use some kind of colored foundation powder. I'm using the Bare Minerals concealer. It's a powder concealer. It's in Well Rested. And I'm just going to tap this over that blemish to conceal a little more of what my liquid concealer did not cover. I took a little bit bigger of a brush now. And I'm just pressing this where I need it so that the coverage concentrates on that spot. So next, I like to take a clear brow gel. I just brush this through my brows. So I like to use this just to hold them in place, and then it gives me an idea of where I need to fill them in. We are going to let that set, and while we're letting that set, we're gonna work on bronzer, blush, highlight. I do take a kind of fluffy brush, and I just bronze around my hairline. So I take a little eyeshadow brush and take some of that same bronzer. I go under the tip of my nose, along the sides of my nose, and kind of under my brow, just to make it all look cohesive. And then I'll take a tiny bit and just make the tip of my nose look a little more round. Okay, now that we are all bronzed up, I'm gonna do a little bit of blush. So take a little bit on my brush. I like to start on the back of my cheek, kind of like where I started bronzing, so it's not super pigmented up front. And then I carry it onto the apples of my cheeks. I don't care how natural or dramatic I'm going. I'm always going to highlight until I look like a glazed donut. So my favorite highlighter is Laura Geller Gilded Honey, and I'm gonna put it on my cheekbones. So I do a lighter, like, circular motion at first to make sure it's really blended out, and then I'll go back in and kind of layer it to intensify it where I want it. Put some on my chin, tip of my nose. From my cheekbone, I like to carry it right here under my brow. By now, our eyebrow gel is probably dry, so I'm gonna fill in my brows a little bit. I go between a pencil and a powder, just depending on the day. More often than not, though, it's a powder. Today I'm gonna use the Anastasia one. Just looks like this, and then I have a little angled brow brush. I usually take a lighter color and just kind of fill in the front of my brows a tiny, tiny bit, just wherever it looks a little sparse. And then I'll go in with a little bit darker of a shade and use that towards the end. The first thing I do is take a black or a dark brown eyeshadow and an angled brush, and I press this by my lash line to basically line my eyes. So this is the most simple way for me to achieve that without using like a pencil or a liquid or a gel eyeliner, because a lot of the times those have a lot of oil in them. I take a small brush, but this one's fluffier than that more dense angled one, and I'll take a lighter brown, and right along that line that I just created with the black shadow, I'm just gonna smoke it out and blend it out a little bit. That's literally it. Alright guys, so we're down to the very last step of this routine. I just like to take a nude lip liner that's maybe like a shade or two darker than my actual lips, and I'll line my lips. Good enough. And then I'll literally just fill in the rest of my lips with the lip liner. That is basically it for my daily makeup routine, especially when I have eyelash extensions. So I hope you guys learned something new in today's video, or at least enjoyed watching my routine. I would love it if you guys come chat with me in the comments, and until then, I will see you in my next video.